Welcome to the pilot episode of the Crimeycade Podcast. I am the mad conservative crime fighter, Stephen Lucas, former Galloping Ghost, Gamer of the Year, former T20 champion, former multi-time hardcore champion, and the current Galloping Ghost Pinball Expo champion, as well as the 1991 Nintendo Campus Challenge national champion. When I say this is a pilot, I mean I'm trying out doing a gaming podcast on Twitch, which, if all goes well, I'll do more of these periodically. For those who are tuning in live, I thank you for giving me a look to see how I do here. Registered Twitch users can hear the comments in chat, and I may answer questions or relay them to our guest. Now, I plan to cover some of the gaming news I'm interested in. I will cover a bit on this episode as it's related to our inaugural guest. Now, there used to be gamer profile interviews done every once in a while. Certainly Doc Mack interviewed me and others who are major players at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. Unfortunately, he is so busy he doesn't have time to do a podcast with everything going on. Monday Mystery Games have been a substitute for it. I just don't know what is out there on gaming podcasts interviewing gamers, or certainly the legendary gamers. I don't see or hear about them hardly. They definitely have a presence at the gaming conventions, but getting on one of these shows has been very difficult. I have had cameos on various gaming YouTube channels I managed to crash, and it certainly helps if you are carrying a championship belt. Now, many know that I've been heavily involved in the local wrestling scene for years, and the gaming stuff took a back seat. Ironically, there's been a lot of crossover between wrestling and gaming lately, but in my case, I have wanted to transition to the gaming scene a lot more than I have because there's a lot to harvest from it. Hopefully, when I get fully immersed into this, I'll be doing one of these programs every 1 or 2 weeks. Who I'll have on the show in the initial weeks will be folks who I know already that'd be willing to come on a show like this. There are tons and tons of podcasts in the world, but I think I can fill a void that has been overlooked. And I'm going to start filling that void tonight. Now, the live podcast will be streamed on Twitch. It'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel a bit later to edit it down, as Twitch only retains streams for a short period of time. So I'm going to open with this. Considering how big of a conservative I am and desire more than anything, getting away from the drama of the real world, at times, there's always going to be some individuals out there who want to radically reorder everything just because they think they don't fit in society, so they are desperate to make the world the way they think everything should be. Politics corrupts everything it gets its dirty little hands into, and video gaming has been one of the few bastions of escape from the real world and all of its problems. Anyway, but these people who really should be considered losers because they are angry, there are people who are happy when they are severely miserable. So they, in desperation to punish those around them and make everyone just as miserable as they are, in order to make themselves feel better somehow. So like they've done in professional sports recently, they've been coming for the gaming world. In fact, that's been going on since about 2014, when all this chatter about Gamergate started raging. But I'm going to save that discussion for another day. What is clear and present is a company called Sweet Baby Incorporated, who has been created solely to inject diversity, equity, and inclusion into video games, whether anyone asks for it or not. Gamers in general did not ask for this. But someone has a political agenda, and they will find every avenue to shove that agenda in your face and indoctrinate you into it. Sweet Baby started to get on the radar with gamers when the most recent entry into the God of War series, Ragnarok, got some bad reviews over its gratuitous self-indulgent story, where it departed greatly from its emphasis on kicking butt and decided to get in touch with its feelings instead, with a lot of bizarre, way out of place elements that made no sense. The video game critic slapped it with the ET Award for extreme disappointment. Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2 also got a lot of negative attention for its unwanted political messaging and littering the game maps with every wokish symbol they could embed into them to signal their virtue. Which now you've probably heard about the massive backlash against Suicide Squad killed the Justice League and the demands for refunds after the way Batman was killed off in the game, considering the voice actor, Kevin Conroy, passed away recently, and this was the next to last dub he performed. It stood out like a sore thumb among the many bizarre and insulting depictions of beloved DC heroes. There's been a ton of YouTube videos covering the subject, and I encourage you to go watch them. Sweet Baby's mission statement. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone. Well, they failed in that task miserably. Their storytelling is full of awful pandering to a small segment of the gaming population, all for shielding developers from online activism and checking off boxes to raise their social credit. However, that doesn't pay the bills, because most of these activists want compliance with their demands, but they are the last ones to pull out their wallets and reward those companies doing their bidding. And if the regular customers are rejecting it, you're pretty much screwed. With the backlash against Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, they're now learning the financially painful way you don't piss off the majority of your customers while appeasing the fringe, who in actuality are outliers of society and expect to be profitable. However, game producers get the message once and for all that doing business with these woke clowns will ruin them. Sweet Baby's personnel is certainly in nuclear meltdown mode, as this is likely the last straw. And gamers will be checking a little more closely to see if this group has had any involvement in future titles before spending their hard-earned money on it. Now, if you disagree with anything I said, then it's your duty to pull out your wallet, buy every title that this group is involved in, buy copies for your close friends, and do some online streaming of you guys playing it and seeing its praises. Because if these woke companies keep eating massive losses, it's very unlikely they will make any more high-profile titles with heavy woke content. We do not need nor want politics in gaming. Got that? We will move on to talking about Mortal Kombat One, which is pretty apolitical as they come. And I am glad, because it is very apolitical, considering this game can be considered an interactive slasher flick with all the very over-the-top dismemberments of characters in the game, far beyond what Time Killers and Bloodstorm did. And half the time, I wonder how the characters survived the challenge, survived the damage inflicted on them, which you would think was a mid-match fatality. Well, there seems to be a big fuss about the game and its problems, and to which the new Tekken 8 seems to be stealing all the attention from the fighting game community. It's been such an issue that right now MK1 is not even in the top 10 for tourney signups at Combo Breaker 2024, scheduled Memorial Day weekend in Schaumburg. However, Mortal Kombat still has its rabid fan base, and the Galloping Ghost Arcade has all the Mortal Kombats that were ever released in the arcade, plus console games put into arcade cabinets. Coming up on St. Patrick's Day, the Blade Wars Tournament will be held at the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois, starting at 5 p.m., with the pre-show at 3 p.m. It is the second one they are holding, following the first one back in October when the cabinet was unveiled to the arcade. And to join me now is the host of the Blade Wars Tournament, the man who's held the GGA Hardcore title more times than anyone else, is the Hypeman JP Pitts, and here's his introductory video. All right, finally got you in.
What's going
a struggle,
on?
Apparently.
Yeah, it was. Oh, so what a rainy day. You have no idea. It was insane to get here. But I am here now, so we all can be happy.
I'm glad you made it in. It's like you thought this was going to be streamed over Facebook or something.
Yeah, I had no idea. This is an incredible moment. What else should I say? Thank you for having me on. Took a while, and everything just piling everything up. We got a lot of tournaments coming up this year, so focusing on making it big. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I get to do a bunch of post-production on this podcast because technical difficulties at the front of this, and then you calling me for help right in the middle of a monologue.
Oh, no, that's what happened?
Well, yes, because I didn't think you'd get here right at 7 o'clock sharp, so I had to prepare a little bit of, commentary. I don't know if you listened to any of that, but...
I'm pretty sure it was phenomenal. I'm pretty sure it's phenomenal, just like, how things have been. So it's pretty good, pretty much.
All right, so let's get started a little bit. Tell me about you. How did you get into gaming?
So, Mortal Kombat was my first true love back when I was in kindergarten. I lived in Chicago for a long time, and I've developed a mindset where the combat and throwing hands down, wrestling and MMA, and when I heard it was an option for video games, I was all up for it. And when I heard about Mortal Kombat being a Chicago organization with Midway at the time, it was insane. So I got onto Mortal Kombat. I believe Mortal Kombat Deadliest Science was my very first Mortal Kombat game that I played.
Deadly Alliance, you mean?
Yes. My Alliance?
Deadly Alliance. I don't know what you said, but it didn't sound like Alliance. Anyway, so that's let's see. What was the first video game you've ever played, or was it Mortal Kombat?
So the very first game that I played was Super Mario Brothers. More of the retro type style, and then Sonic the Hedgehog, and what else? What else did I play? There was a lot of games that I played, but one of my childhood games was Dragon Slayer. I love that game so much. I've been playing it when I was a kid, and a little bit more often when I'm here at the Galloping Ghost.
It's Dragon Slayer, and that's on which system? So I don't think I've
It was an app. It was an app that Apple developed at the time, where it had like retro games on there. So I've been playing that.
Okay. So you basically started about the mid '80s when you were, I guess, geez, how old were you then? Because I'm going to tell you how.
Yeah, I'm 21 now, and I was.
You're only 21.
Yeah, I'm
I
doing this
had
now
no
too.
idea. So you're old enough to drink.
Yep, still doing it.
And when when did you turn 21? How long
9/11.
ago? 9/11.
Like months. Yep. The
Wow.
the good day, the very good day.
So to reveal my age, when I started gaming, this was about 1978, 1979.
Oh, really?
And Space Invaders was the first game that I really got into. And as I told Doc back when I was doing my gamer profile, gosh, it's 7 years ago now.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is part of the reason why I started this is because Doc Mac doesn't have time to do doesn't really have time to do podcasts. It's just basically Monday Mystery Games reveals kind of ended up being the substitute for that because how busy is he? He's
busy
on the inside.
Yes, he's very busy. I think his goal is to bring in as much games in as possible. We've just we just purchased a truck where we load in a bunch of games from different areas, and then on top of that, we got this. He's already talking about the second and the third expansions. So a lot of preparation for everything this year, and as time goes on, because he's not stopping anytime soon.
When does he sleep? That's the real question.
I to quote him on that, who knows?
Who knows? It's like I don't think he sleeps at all. But welcome Strider Ryu and Crackerjack 2000. Crackerjacker 2000 to the stream.
More Reveal, the Bloody Wars champion is in there. Wow, that's crazy.
Yes. I did happen to find his gamer profile interview, and it was taped 10 years ago. He wants to do another one at Doc, but I don't know when he would be able to do another one, but I may get him in. So it's just a question of who am I going to get in on this podcast next? That's the real question. I'm still. This is still a work in progress. Obviously, this is my first attempt at it. Now,
sure.
Let's see, where was I? So the expansion, yes, he has to be. Speaking of projects, Dark Presence is still in production. We're still waiting for that to be fully released as a completed game. What's your thoughts on Dark Presence?
I've actually played the game before. It's really good. It's a really good game. It's what's so difficult about this process is where you're taking 80s filming, everything that was filmed back. I said 80s, 90s filming, where you're taking everything from back then and using current tools like what's that? Unity, like softwares like those. I think that's like the biggest challenge. But everything else with the gaming program and all the coding, the fun stuff, I think that's what keeps it stalling.
And there's a documentary that is supposed to come out gosh, this is February. They say they're gonna have it released and ready to go in May. I'm wondering if it's going to get out on time. I'm anxious to see it because this is the first gaming documentary that I've actually been involved in. I've been wanting to do one for years, but haven't run across somebody filming one.
It's awesome. You should definitely give it a shot. I highly recommend it.
Anyway, did you shoot any footage for this?
For this, not at all. It was funny because I was on my way to grab some filming equipment to do this right now. Um, it was hailing out there, so I had to get there on time, and I was like, my mind is like going crazy just thinking about, oh, I gotta set everything up for this, and uh, but no, it was crazy out there. But I'm here now, and
but you've not. But your involvement, are you going to be in Ghost Lore: The Quest for Dark Presence?
I haven't checked anything out. So I've reached out to what's his name, Craig, that the director of the film, also the official owner of Motion Source. Shout outs to them. Reached out to him. I've actually been part of the filming, like the behind the scenes most of the time. If my face gonna go onto the documentary, I am not sure. That's the editor's part, and the editor for that company is very private because we're obviously doing like movies and stuff, so we don't want the big stuff to get revealed or leaked. So it makes sense.
Yes. All I know is my involvement in the documentary, and
I saw that. You look so good, dude. You look like a champion. You still look like a champion.
When he went over to their studio to do the audio interview, I'm long-winded and ended up talking for about an hour and a half, and they really should just release that as a separate podcast feature or something. Because there's no way they're going to put that much audio in a documentary. I'm probably going to be, I don't know, it's probably going to be a minute or two of my dialogue. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see this, right?
Right. So here's a question. What is it really like working at the largest arcade in the world? Because I don't think, is it as glamorous as it appears on the outside, or is it a lot more involved than we think of just showing up and playing games?
I feel like as an employee of the company, I feel like that there's definitely a lot of behind the scenes stuff, how everything's done around here. But at the same time, it's a fun environment to be part of. The team is great. We have we have good quality of work over here, and we just love putting on for a show for you guys, and that's what's really what it's about. And we're getting the fun out of it as much as the people coming in to play. So it benefits everyone. So.
And what lured you to come out to? I don't know what you did before working for Galloping Ghost, but how did you decide you wanted to be a Galloping Ghoster team? Part of the team, I guess.
Yeah, no, there you go. That's one way you could put it. So I've worked at a restaurant before I came over here. The environment over there wasn't my cup of tea, so I had to figure out what could I go for that has a lot to do with me, like a lot about myself. But now, what I said before, when I liked Dragon's Lair, I know Galloping Ghost has Dragon's Lair, and I know that they have like Mortal Kombat and stuff, and I've been coming here over that place for a while. Funny fact, I live like 2 blocks away from the building, so
I'm jealous.
You want to switch with me, right, Steven?
I don't know what it would be. a neighbor was outside of the arcade, and I basically, when I was, I guess, pulled up, arrived at the scene to spend my weekend at the arcade, I asked them what it was like being next door to the largest arcade in the world, and I don't think there were gamers, but I would be jealous if because then again, if I was next door to the largest arcade in the world, I'd be in there maybe almost every day.
Well, exactly, and which is why they easily become gamers. I was before I had Galloping Ghost, before I even came over here as thinking about being part of an employee. I was more of an athlete, so I was into football, wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, karate, even boxing. So those were my stuff that you see me when I have interest in something like Power Stone. That's my Power Stone right there, the MMA and the wrestling and stuff like that. And ever since I've been coming to Galloping Ghost and looking at it, and I'm just like, I wonder what it's like working over there. Once you're there every day, you can't stop coming every day. It's an addiction that you can get from it when you're playing these games. So I think it's a huge benefit if you move out of town, come over here, move exactly where Galloping Ghost is at, and get your game on. We got hotels, so feel free.
Biggest negative, though, is I'd have to live in the Chicago area, and I'd see when I go up to the Chicago area, I pretty much go to Brookfield and go no further into the city because all the fuss about the safety and all the crime that's been in the headlines over the past couple of years. And now we have no cash bail, and it's kind of made everything a lot worse. But that's not the scope of this interview. Yes, it's a suburb
very nice. Exactly.
of about 20,000 people, and it's to the southwest away. I mean, I'm comfortable going to Brookfield all the time. I haven't had any real problems. A couple of times when I stayed at a hotel, there was some let's say drama.
Yes, there could be a lot of that. They're from Summit and LaGrange, Downers Grove, all in one small city in the arcade. They happen in the arcade, right?
The drama happened at the hotel. Gosh, the couple of times I can recall a couple of incidents over in Westmont, and both of these happened to be at the same hotel. Some woman was going berserk, screaming at, I guess, whoever she was staying at the hotel with, and she was just belligerent, out of control. And this was actually during a T20 weekend.
Was it?
And she was so whacked, I was just I was pretty intimidated, and ended up sending somebody from front desk up there to deal with it. But she was lashing out, and I just didn't want to. I was worried about T20 getting. I don't know what year it was, but I was battling for the side tournament. Probably. I don't think it's the only time I won the main tournament was 2020, of course, during COVID year. But the other years, it's been a battle for the side tournament, and that happened. And I'm just like, what a way to start the day.
Yeah, well, I think sounds like it.
The other incident that happened was I just happened to show up after the incident, or after the person who I guess was high on something, because he was running around the hotel completely nude and doing who knows what, and the police had to show up and take him away. When I pulled up, the police were in there. There's police cars in front, and it's like looking in, and it's like I was wondering if it was safe to enter the building, and then I was just wondering what the heck what the commotion was about, and it was somebody who took something he shouldn't have took.
Yeah,
And
sounds like a nice little environment that you just experienced.
but those are the only two incidents that have occurred. I haven't had any other problems that I know of since then, but guess I'm lucky. But then again,
that's enough.
Yes. So, where was I? Yeah, your tenure at the arcade. So, get this back on track because I'm talking about me too much. It's about you right now.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
What are some of the games that you're pursuing right now? I mean, back then, a year or two ago, you were in a battle with Dave Drazak over the Sonic Racing record.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still going on. It seems to have settled down.
Yeah, it's off the table now.
Who won that battle?
I did.
You did.
I did.
So Dave finally waved the white flag.
It was Brandon. It was a Diaz brother, but yeah, he waved the white flag. He hasn't come back for that since. I think I still hold it till this day. So I haven't played in a while. Who knows?
And you're still trying to reduce that speed run of Power Stone.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm still trying to. Well, every now and then I would attempt something. I kid you not. Every day when I come into GGA, I 1cc Power Stone every single time I come in. So every day I 1cc it. It does like it is pretty short time too. So that's one of the games that I have a very strong suit
Now, what game are you pursuing now?
My goal is Mortal Kombat. The OG Mortal Kombat is one of the games that I have had tried getting a little bit more experience of. Doc Mack actually introduced it to me, and I currently, based off of what I'm seeing, trying to myself and figure out Reptile, how to get him, and then we got who else? Shang Tsung, how to destroy him. I've went up to Goro, so that's where I'm at with my level right now. So expect a world record from me from Mortal Kombat.
The very first Mortal Kombat. Oh,
yeah.
All right. You plan to speed run MK2, MK3, MK3?
That could be a possibility. Now that I thought about it.
All right. Shoot. Now, Blade Wars Tournament. You got the idea to, I guess, get in the action since Combo Breaker has their yearly convention during Memorial Day weekend. All these fighting game tournaments. You decided you wanted to do something like that over at Galloping Ghost. So tell me how that came about.
So how did I start Bloody Wars? Is that what you're asking?
How you got that going? Yes.
I'm so when I first got into Galloping Ghost, I've looked at Flip Frenzy. That was one of Kent's tournaments that he used to do, and then back then I had a competition that was called Arcade Frenzy at the time. And I was looking back and I'm like, well, what if I do a tournament one of these days, or what's it like hosting a tournament, but with a category that I love hosting or that I love getting myself into, which is fighting games. And I tried Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, and went pretty good. And then, scheduling it and making sure that every other month there's an event that every gamer is going to look forward to playing once you come to Galloping Ghost. Whether if it's Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, whether if it's Dragon Ball Z, or even a hard left of a game Karate Champ. Games like those, we can make those games popular again, and at the same time, everyone's gonna have a good time once they come over here. And at the same time, it's a growing community, and everyone gets to know each other. And those moments like that is pretty good to me. So thought
I do. Games that are pulled out of obscurity, we know that you did that with Tattoo Assassins, which that was a prototype game. Although, and I did compile a list. Yeah, I got that list together of all the fighting games that Galloping Ghost has, or at least.
You were in fourth or third place in Tattoo Assassins. That's probably. Well, is that correct? I think that's what you were ranked.
I don't know if I got third. My only third place finish was Tekken 3. I kind of split the difference on Tattoo Assassins.
You did get so you did get fourth place off of Tattoo Assassins.
2 and 2. I don't remember how many. I don't know how many gamers were in the that particular tournament, but I did get a couple of wins. But I've been about average so far. My win-loss is just kind of mostly even.
Let me ask you this. What would be a game that would be in your strong suits?
We kind of just had that. We had a Street Fighter game, the Street Fighter 3 this time. Obviously, Tekken 3 I did my best on. Right. I keep saying bring back Soul Calibur 2, and then looks like I'm gonna have to work off the rust on that one. Obviously, I can't use Link or Spawn or Hitachi in it. But there's some other characters I could kind of get good with again. I just have to plop the disc back in the GameCube. And I played the heck out of it when I had it. Well, I have to show this.
What's that?
Jose is asking, what about Tetris?
Oh, boy. Yeah, not happening, Jose.
Although he did fire this one, but that's not a fight. Well, it's a fighting game, but it's not a versus fighting game. It's just a beat 'em up. But the only Tetris-like game that's on the fighting game list I put together is Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, which features Street Fighter or Capcom fighting game characters, and it is a versus. Basically, drop stones, and it's kind of like columns, Tetris, etc. And then the characters on the screen fight each other.
I heard about wasn't there like a Street Fighter puzzle game too?
Street Fighter what?
Street Fighter puzzle game. Is that
That was it. Puzzle Fighter 2.
Sounds like it. I mean, it is a Street Fighter type thing, but fighting game? Good question.
It's fighting game related. We'll just say that. That's why I put it in there. As kind of the oddball. Twinkle Star Sprites was also thrown in there just because it is a versus game, even though it's a shoot 'em up. Because the enemies you destroy on one screen get shoved on the other one as an attack. Anyway, had to look at something. Yes, Puzzle Fighter 2, Norbert Fail.
That's a good one.
I even included, believe it or not, Galloping Ghost Pong. Because that is a versus game. That is the very first. It's probably the first game where you're basically slamming that ball and trying to get past the other guy's paddle. But anyway. I don't know what he said this. If he's talking about Twinkle Star Sprites, yeah, I know it's a shoot 'em up, but you're kind of like in the same vein as Puzzle Fighter 2. You're the enemies you destroy on your side of the screen get shoved on the other side of the screen as an attack against the other player, and you're trying to knock out the other player. That's what that means. But yeah, technically it's not a fighting game, but it is definitely a versus game. And
sure, we'll go with that. Will it be in Bloody Wars? Good question.
And
just
yes,
like
Robert,
I said that with NFL Blitz. So let's not get into that at all.
And yes, Norbert Vale, Pong is not a fighting game, but it is definitely a versus game. That's one of the very few versus games that is not, let's say, throwing fists that I included on the list. Just as an oddball. Yes, Pong could end up in the Bloody Wars.
Yeah, no, not happening.
Anyway, so there's been a lot of fuss about Mortal Kombat. Lately, there's been a lot of videos that have been posted online. No, Tetris is not quite the same thing because it's not a versus game.
Who said that, Jose?
No, it's Norbert.
Oh, wow. Nope, not even close, bud. No. Love you as a champ, but no. Sorry.
Anyway, I don't know if you look at videos on YouTube on Mortal Kombat One. There's certainly been quite a bit of fuss about it lately. Once Tekken 8 got released. You're a big fan of Mortal Kombat 1. I've kind of brought it up in the Discord chat, but you kind of discounted all the, I guess, the comments about it. But I put together a montage of some of the comments that have been made about MK1 versus Tekken 8, and we're going to play that video, and I want you to see what you think, because I'll have some questions after I play this. See if the concerns are legit, or if it's just a big fuss about nothing. But here we go.
Kind of something that's just been bothering me. I've been wanting to speak on these matters sooner, but I've been caught up in life and such.
With the current state you're in, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in you right now.
Mortal Kombat 1 has had the biggest drop-off in fan interest since 2015 that I've been covering Mortal Kombat, Injustice, NRS games.
It really saddens me to see the love I was building for this game diminish and dwindle so quickly, but I just can't stay with Mortal Kombat 1 anymore, man.
How did MK get to this point in only 4 months, and what is the cause? Personally, I believe it's the fault of everyone involved. The game itself, NRS and Warner Brothers, the casual community and the competitive community, they're all just poisoning the well for each other and against each other.
In Mortal Kombat games, they reboot each character's move list in each game and they remake it from scratch. This means, for example, if you're a Mortal Kombat 11 player and you're doing great with Johnny Cage, this has no value in Mortal Kombat 1. You're gonna have to learn Johnny Cage's new move list in Mortal Kombat 1 all over again.
And On top of that, the desyncing issues. The only thing y'all have that we can play on a consistent basis is online. And for the past month, we have been dealing with desync issues. So you made an online only game, really, and we can't even play it because of the desync issues. They're working on fixing that, but out of the 3-4 some months the game been out, not being able to play it all the time for like a month is crazy.
And when you get on this game, bro, I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. There isn't shit to do on here but Combat League and casuals. That's it. And Combat League itself is desyncing its ass off. So when you have a core function gameplay that's not even functionable, it's just horrible. And what I'm showing you now is just the gear piecing system. It's ass, bro. I don't care what nobody says. Some people gear pieces aren't even visible, like Gears right here and Quan Chi, bro. So you basically went from an entire downgrade from MK11 to this, bro. Like I don't see how they just went backwards, bro. They just could have improvised or improved on what they did to MK11. They could have just gave us 3 gear pieces like an MK11, bro. I'm not complaining. It is just true, bro. The customization is ass. What's the point of having a customization option that's even barely visible on some characters? You know how dumb that is, bro?
There hasn't been any communication with NRS in Mortal Kombat 1, especially on Twitter, and that's caused a lot of discourse among the community. Now, yesterday, ironically, as Tekken 8 was announcing their launch and having their big day, all of a sudden we get this tweet from the official Mortal Kombat account. The tweet says, the desync issue in MK1 has been addressed, and we'll be monitoring the game for any further interruptions.
But this is easily my biggest issue, along with many people in the community, and that is the monetization practice. It's pretty awful. At first, I was a little bit mixed on it, and it didn't seem too predatory. After a couple of seasons and looking at the content drops that we've had, these issues have only gotten worse. Items you can buy with Dragon Crystals, this version's game of V-Bucks, you can either skip the grind and get items early or nab yourself some exclusive costumes in the premium shop. My biggest issue with this is that many of the items can already be found in this game's shrine feature, meaning you could spend some real world money and just get something you could have unlocked by doing some random number generator slot. I'm not even kidding when I say this. There have been several times where I'd look into the premium shop, close out of it, and realize I had enough coins to go into the shrine, then go into the shrine and find an item that was in the premium shop from there.
This is Tekken 8. It's a little fighting game that came out a few days ago.
Tekken is deep. You can spend months on it and still be an intermediate player. Like, this is the controller most pro Tekken players use to play it, and this is how they move in the game. Like, look at the main man Sui. The guy's been playing Tekken for decades and still isn't able to beat pro players, like tournament players. Tekken has 3D gameplay, which is something that modern Mortal Kombat games don't have, and I'm a boxer, and if you have martial arts experience, you know how sidestepping can affect the way you fight, how fun it can be in fighting game.
You know what I see? I see the list of everything that's available in the game, the story stuff, all the offline stuff, the online stuff, the customization, obviously replay, and that's it.
But that's not the case for Tekken. Jin's been fighting the same way since 2001, the year that I was born, Tekken 4. It's the same style and kinda the same mechanics, but in every game it gets smoother and more comprehensive. Like fighting in real life, you keep fighting for years and you master some moves and you also learn some new moves. Tekken characters' fighting mechanics evolves in each game.
Confusing part with this about Mortal Kombat 1 is that we know you guys know how to do it because you did it in MK11. MK11 had a ton of things to do besides just play matches against each other. We had the crypt, we had towers, we had tons of DLC, tons of skins to get, and we didn't have all these microtransactions. But somehow, Mortal Kombat 1 has did the complete opposite.
There is no microtransaction, no one currency for another currency, no premium stuff store in the game. Right?
The worst business move they can make is say, we changed the game the way you want it, but you got to pay for it in an expansion. That would be the death. Yeah. That would be the death. That would be it. It would never recover. It would never recover if they do go that route, that we finally gave you what you want for a price.
This is all currency that you earn in-game, all right, that you can see there on the screen. You earn this currency in game. You can see the amount of fight money I've got already, and that wasn't hard to get.
Tekken 8 is out now, and I have no motivation to open up MK1 when they're writing a love letter to new fighting game players, actually seem to respect their community, and see them as equals rather than as dollar signs.
He says, NRS players saying they go into a new game, this is because they don't like MK1 currently. Injustice 2 sucks, I'm playing Tekken 7 and Soul Calibur 6, just to come back and play Injustice 2 before Mortal Kombat 11. He then says, oh my god, Breakaway, down to Crushing Blow, MK11 sucks, I'm playing Street Fighter 5 until Mortal Kombat 1. Then he sees those same players in tournaments all the time. Now he says people are saying the same thing about Mortal Kombat 1 while saying they're moving on to Tekken 8, to which the homie Big Lee's replied, I think the NRS has just had poor releases with MK11 and MK1 and people are sick of it. They're looking for a new game but they can't find something they like.
So they hold foundation for 30 years just to be put out like this. Like, it's gonna take so much time to get them out. But if they do this, if they keep going like this franchise is gonna die, bro. This game.
Wow, that was a lot. I'm not out to bury Mortal Kombat. I mean, that franchise has been around for a couple of decades now. Kind of have to admit that they're having issues with the game currently, and I didn't even know about this desync issue. Now, if you're playing Mortal Kombat 1 at the Galloping Ghost on the arcade game, obviously you're not going to have that problem because you're not doing online matches.
Right. But there's a lot to say about Tekken 8. To back up this this argument, I don't own a Tekken 8 game yet. I have not played Tekken 8 yet, so I really can't say much about the game and what I prefer Tekken 8 rather than MK1. I will say that because it was just released, I think it's too early to sit here and say, Tekken 8 is better than MK1. Like, there's so many features that, yes, Mortal Kombat 1 could use some work on, where they, I'm not going to mention too much of the mistakes that they have, but, every game has flaws, whether it's bugs or a virus or whatever the case is. I think it's too early for everyone to sit here and say, hey, Tekken is the next game if it's just released.
Right. I mean, have you experienced any of the desync issues that you're playing a online match against somebody and then you just get a message pop up on the screen saying the other player disconnected? It's not a quitality, but they lost the...
It has happened where, there's issues with some games where you're like, it's an online problem. I mean, that's been an issue since MK9, and you guys still play the game still. So it really doesn't make sense on how you would like shit talk on Mortal Kombat, where you got like Street Fighter and and when they're trying to make a combat,
So, you believe Mortal Kombat 1 will rise up again? Although I've seen news today that Peacemaker got delayed. The DLC character. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
That's definitely a first time hearing this. I mean, it could be some technical issues or maybe poor management. I mean, I'm not there saying, or I don't know what's like working for them. They all have their issues, but I guess we'll see when time comes. It might be like a little bug issue. That's
right.
Yeah.
MK1 and Tekken, the Mortal Kombat series and the Tekken series are quite different. Mortal Kombat relies on, I would liken it to an interactive slasher movie versus Tekken, where it's just beating people up and kind of bloodless. They don't physically kill each other. Now, Tekken, there has been deaths in the Tekken series, but that's usually in the ending sequence when a character is killed off. But MK in Mortal Kombat, it's just. I mean, I'm seeing the fatalities evolve, and it's just, I don't know if they're just trying to gross people out or I guess finding new ways to gross people out, or raising the tolerance level of grossing out. I mean, I thought it got ridiculous when they basically split a person completely in half from head to toe and just held each side of the body with blood spilling out. I thought that was like, okay, this is too much. Right. What is your tolerance level of the gore in the MK games?
I love them. I've developed and grown from that, so I can take it. So it doesn't bother me at all. I'm a 3D designer myself, so I can't say anything towards that, or anything negative, let's just say.
I don't know if you know this, but Mortal Kombat was one of the games that brought about the rating system. KA, teen, mature, adults only, the rating system for video games back in the 90s. In fact, the controversy back then was, will Super Mario get super bloody? And that was that happened to come around when the very first Mortal Kombat came out. But you kept playing, and if you like blood and guts, Mortal Kombat's your game in a fighter. Well, so is Bloodstorm and Time Killers. I mean, they tried to emulate MK a bit. So Tattoo Assassins. Sure. But regardless of what you think of Mortal Kombat 1, Blade Wars is happening on St. Patrick's Day. And
yes, St. Patrick's Day.
What is your go-to character?
Everyone, if you guys haven't been in the arcade yet, everyone would know that it would be Baraka and Cyrex. Like that is like, they don't want to admit it, but it's a good character to develop with. Why? Because it's a cheat. It's a cheat, and it's a broken character. So
now that's not the character you used in our battles.
It is. What was Mortal Kombat? Are you talking about the new MK1, right?
The new MK1, yeah.
Yeah. It's. I love it. I love the character. I use it almost every time someone comes in my way. Me and one of our other guys, Rich, would like get into battles every time we see each other. So I know how to use that character very well. So it's not a threat or anything. Just gotta love it. I love the character. So
right now, so far, I've used Lee May on MK1. That's probably the character I'm going to use when I play in the Blade Wars tournament come St. Patrick's Day.
You've installed Steam, right?
I have Steam. Now, nice. When I looked up the game, I got some sticker shock. $70 for the base game. $110 for all the bells and whistles. And in that video montage I played, the YouTube videos were complaining about all these microtransactions. And there was a lot of microtransactions on this. Apparently not so much for Tekken 8, supposedly. But I don't know. I didn't look it up and see what all the costs were in acquiring Tekken 8 on Steam.
We shall see. I know there's a difference, so we'll see.
I mean, how much, if you bought everything
Yep.
MK1 has that's been released, I mean, how much money are you looking at? I mean, I said 110, but apparently there's more on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to play the game, the premium edition, that's an accurate price. There's more to that, rather if you're just getting characters, because there are some characters that you can unlock, and then the gears as well, the crystals that they're offering as currencies. So look at all that, and there's a lot to it, a lot more to it. But I mean, overall, it's a fun game. So I would say it's worth your money if you would have gotten like the standard edition. You're just getting if you're like interested, you're not even interested in just you're interested in playing the game. That's in my opinion, it's good. So
I mean, if you're playing competitively in something like Combo Breaker, you want, I don't know if you absolutely need all the bells and whistles to learn everything and battle your competition. You don't actually need all those bells and whistles. You just need all the basics to do what you need to do to win.
Sure.
Win the matches.
Yeah.
All right. So $15 is the entry fee, and that will be St. Patrick's Day at 5 o'clock, pre-show at 3 o'clock. So how many, you got a lot of interest so far? Or a lot of players signed up for this?
I've reached out to local arcades around, not just around Galloping Ghost, but I've reached out to arcades like Yeti Station, Logan's Arcade. I've reached out to those for Third Strike. So they're fully aware about the organization, and once the website will be releasing very soon.
Yeah, that's been down.
Yeah, it's been down for a while due to some complications with the network, I should say. But it's going to be up very soon. It's going to be back up very soon. So once that does happen, it'll be an easier way to sign up to the tournaments and stuff. And yeah, the word about Bloody Wars has been spreading like crazy once we were in WTDW at that time. So, I mean, it's paying off so far.
I'll briefly mention NFL Blitz 99 is happening on Saturday. Now, most people will be watching this podcast after the fact, probably.
And real quick, I didn't mean to cut you off. So I did tell this to some people. Some people have seen it, but I have 3D. So I'm into 3D animations as part of my graphic designing background. I've 3D printed Vince Lombardi Super Bowl trophy that you will see on TV. 3D printed it and put it towards the tournament on Saturday.
Okay. So that'll be the reward for the winner.
It is.
Starting at 2 o'clock, and that'll go all day. You got one cabinet, or you got any more? Did you get a second one? Because
no, we're just doing that one cabinet. So it's gonna be one game, all 4 quarters, and no tournament edition or nothing like that. No inputs or anything. Double elimination. First to go all the way through first place all the way wins. That's pretty much how this goes. Same techniques, But it's just one game, 4 quarters, stuff like that. Normal NFL Blitz games. Yeah,
All right.
that's pretty much how this goes.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Ha! 49ers. All the way.
The 49ers?
McCaffrey, I'm going all in on Christian McCaffrey. He's going to take us there. George Kittle's going to have to keep up with Brock Purdy. But as long as they get the defense to get targets on Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, will not, and I will repeat, will not happen in the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift is going to have to stay in Tokyo to not deal with the damage that Kelce is going to put into the Super Bowl. It's not going to be pretty. I have full confidence in Purdy. He is going to do, and I will say this for the stream, Brock will do pretty good in the Super Bowl.
Well, I think the 49ers got gifted the Super Bowl because if the Lions kicked the 2 field goals when they should have, it might have been the Lions versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So personally, I am picking the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl again.
Not happening.
What will the final score be? I don't know. I think the Chiefs will win by a couple of touchdowns. We'll say at least 2 touchdowns, but it should be a competitive game through all 4 quarters. I'm not expecting any sort of a blowout.
Sure. So this is the trophy that's going to be put out there on NFL Blitz 99. So,
all right.
It's right here. It came out pretty good, honestly. It had to assemble the pieces. It was all in 2 pieces. It was in 2 pieces. Assembled that together and painted it up a little bit. But this is the real deal.
All right. So, with Bloody Wars, there's been some intensive rivalries going on. A few months ago, we were supposed to have this big showdown between Norbert Vale and Chris Blackie. And a couple of guys came in that never played in Bloody Wars previously and went all the way to the finals and knocked both of them guys out, and they didn't even have a match against each other. Couple of other rivalries that have been going on. Damian Cordova and Norbert Vale are having a rivalry. And we've had a bit of a rivalry.
I remember. Darn.
I've Bloody Wars tournament, I was trying to figure out how the heck you were ordering the rankings. You kind of covered it in a press conference, but for the folks who did not see that, briefly tell me, how do you figure out where everybody's ranked?
So, yes, there is a ranking system through the contenderships based off of their performance from the tournament that they had the last time, obviously the win and loss record, and who comes to these things often. And if I got one person that attends to this thing one time, they're going to be ranked at the bottom. That's just the bottom line. When I see people coming in consistently and get good, a good place in the score, who beat who, what's your record look like, you're going to be on the top of the league. So. That's
I would. We say rank at the bottom. I just mark them inactive if they're they come in once and then the next 2 tournaments they don't make an appearance. I just mark them inactive. They can be reactivated later, of course, but the active players, keep them in the mix. Rank those people. Right now, I'm ranked number 6. Now, Damian Cordova is scheduled to face off against Norbert Vale for the Bloody Wars title I believe the last weekend of February. And this will be the first time that the title will be defended in a outside of an actual tournament in a best of 7. Your thoughts?
It won't be. Don't expect it to be a everyday type thing or the same way Bloody Wars is right now. Don't expect it to be around anytime soon. I'm doing this because, well, I mean, Damien wants to belt, and he's been an experienced contender for a long time. So,
So do I.
Yeah, you have been, Steven. And the best of 7s you've been inventing. It's crazy. So, it's got people up a little bit. So, through competition. So, I'll give you props for that. But I know Damien wants the belt for a while, and he's asked for this. So, asking you shall receive. So that's pretty much that. But don't expect it to be an everyday type thing.
No. Actually, your colleague, King Can Blackman, Brendan Travis, was concerned that, well, could this become the new hardcore title? I don't. No, we don't want it to become the new hardcore title. We have a hardcore title. This, besides best of 7, you have to win 4 matches in a row on 4 different games. It's not going to be a fluke win. You have to battle it out, and you have to grind it out in between 4 and 7 matches.
Yep.
Which brings me to me and you. We've had a bit of a rivalry, and yes, we've had 2 of these best of 7 so far. I won the first one 4-1. You've won the second one 4-1. At some point in the future, there has to be a rubber match. You initially declined to give the rubber match. I kind of feel right now that I'm not quite ready to have the rubber match anyway. I kind of want things to build up before we have such a thing. But I still want to collect more belts. I'm not fighting games. I'm just averaging. I'm not the caliber of an Overveil, obviously. I'm not the caliber of, these people at Combo Breaker.
Yep.
A little bit of a sidetrack. How many from Combo Breaker has participated in Blade Wars that you know of?
1. That was Eric Caterson that came over at Mortal Kombat 4.
I've been wondering, it's like, what do we have? I know this is held in Chicago every year. I have to imagine people who participate in fighting game tournaments all the time. I mean, this is streamed. Blade Wars is streamed on YouTube live. Surprised we haven't gotten more Combo Breaker players into this.
Well, I mean, back when it was last year of Combo Breaker, we were a position where no one knows us yet. I feel like as either this year or the next upcoming years, once we get our names out there, it'll happen. So,
but anyway, best of 7. Whenever we have it, I'm going to redeem myself because I could not believe that I had such a rough time. Now, the 4-1 loss, yes, but the round by rounds ended up being 2-1, 2-1 most of the time. They were pretty close. If I had landed the last hit, it might have It might have flipped from, I don't know. It could have ended up 3-2, and 2 more matches would have been played.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Somehow you keep drawing Power Stone, which is a
my
gimme.
Game. It's my game.
Yeah, it's your game. I gotta play it some before I have this rubber match with you. But
oh yeah, it's one of my games. It is. I love it. It's I've proved myself with this game, and I've proved what I'm capable of when it comes to the game and everything else. And I think it is fair to, and with that being said, I think it is now fair to say that I am the best Power Stone player in the world.
But are you the best? But are you the best Mortal Kombat player in the world? That's the question.
That's the truth. I wouldn't consider myself in the world. Locally, maybe.
Are you going to be in your colleagues, King Cam, Brandon,
what about
Samantha? They've entered the Blade Wars tournaments. You haven't played in a Blade Wars tournament yet.
I have not, no.
Will we see you participating in the MK1 Bloody Wars tournament besides hosting duties?
I feel like that it is who knows? I haven't thought about participating in Bloody Wars. I know people have been bringing it up to my attention for a long time. We'll see. I might. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see.
You're thinking about it. Now that I put that suggestion in your head.
Now that you did, we'll have to see.
All right.
You have anything else you want to ask me?
Well,
I know we've covered a lot.
I know. Hopefully, I'm going to make my way up there this weekend. And seems that I've had all my attention on the fighting game community. My scores are being picked off.
I saw that.
Andrew Owasco and surprisingly, Matt Walters. Matt Walters took a score that I had for a few years. I'm now having to spend some time on it. I didn't expect to. But now Andrew took a score for me and then is trying to knock another score out of my hands. Now, the one that he's going after is JJ Squawkers. I believe he won CC'd today, but it was not quite enough. He did not break 2 million. The score I have, Ollie found one video on YouTube where the score was a little bit higher. So I don't know. He's got to play through the game multiple times to try to get enough bonus points to pass my score. And I didn't expect I'd be playing it again, but apparently I'm going to have to.
Oh.
And Blues Journey, I got to take that one back too.
Yeah.
There's Playroom. But I got to learn that game again. And practicing at home, I keep having, it's just been rough. Here's a funny little thing. You know, I got this tank stick right here. I'm going to turn the camera around. I got this here. You'd think, I guess when Billy Mitchell was going for the max out or the highest possible score on the class or the 20th reunion edition of Ms. Pac-Man and Galaga, where Pac-Man's hidden in the game. Oh, I got you on mute somehow. Oh, you chose to mute yourself. Sorry. I just thought when I moved the camera, I thought I triggered that thing. So you're on mute right now, JP. So.
That is silly me. I did not see that. That's my bad.
I tried to unmute you and it said you muted yourself. So anyway.
I kind of accidentally muted myself. That's my bad.
Okay. Billy Mitchell was trying to beat that Pac-Man score that he had the first or second perfect Pac-Man, depending on who you ask. I'm not going to litigate that, that controversy, but that's not my point here. The 20th Reunion Edition, the kill screen is a little slightly different. There's a few more dots on the screen. Enough dots to get the second key to pop out before you eat everything that's able to be eaten due to all the glitched graphics on the right side. So he beat the max out score on original hardware Pac-Man. It's like an additional 5,000 points. So he beat that score. But it took him 10 days to do it. Sure. And I happened to come into the arcade the last day he was there. And that was the day that he finally got the perfection after 10 days of trying. And all the Twitch streams. And the reason why he was having so much trouble, the joystick is different on a 20th Reunion cabinet versus the original Pac-Man cabinet.
Oh, really?
So you can be the best driver in the world, but if the car is different, your performance in driving may not be the same. It may degrade a little bit until you get used to the new vehicle that you're driving. And so my difficulty in practicing the games I'm trying to take scores back on, the driving mechanism on the arcade game is different than what I have at home. This dual tank stick, or maybe I'm playing on a keyboard, or maybe I'm using, where's my controller? I have a GameCube controller that has a USB connector. I had a Sega Genesis-like controller that I broke the cross off practicing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Go figure.
So the control panels are not the same, and the nuances playing the games are a little different on each one. So I'm having a hard time doing as well at home than I'm doing at the arcade itself. That's the challenge I have. Besides getting familiar with the games again and getting back to the point where I was. Have you playing games at home? The experience is different at the arcade. Have you had, say you're practicing a game you want to take a score on home, get to the arcade, you have a rough time. How often have you had that experience?
Pretty big. I think that's like a beginning, like you get those feelings where it's like super severe when you're like a beginner of video games. But I feel like that once you've experienced everything, once you have more experience, it'll be like less effective. Overall, it depends on how good are you at the games, and how much does it mean to you.
And how often have you basically, when I have problems on a game, I either stomp my feet or slap the head of the stool.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Those are I get like I slam on my control panel sometimes. I usually throw my controller. Game rage is a real thing. It's a real thing.
I've not abused. Just so everybody knows, I've not abused any of the arcade games at GGA. When I get mad or frustrated, I may bump the thing slightly with a hand, but if I'm really wanting to punch something, I use a stool or stomp my feet. I have not harmed a physical arcade game at the Galloping Ghost. I know a few people thought I did, but no, I have not assaulted any of the arcade games. I
believe you.
Besides, the stool is padded. I can slap the stool. It can suck. I mean, people are jumping in and out of those stools all the time. They can take somewhat of a beating, but they're padded.
Right.
If I punch an arcade game, I'll hurt myself. I don't want to hurt my hands.
Yep.
The only time I hurt my hands at the arcade is when the joystick, when I'm playing the games, I have, I've discovered bruises on my hands. No, I avoided blisters. I know for a couple of particular games at the arcade, I have to wear gloves to play it because I'm a Ghost Laser or Laser Ghost. I've had to wear gloves to play it because I'm gripping it so hard, my hands hurt. So I have to wear gloves to not hurt my hands. I don't know how many other gamers do that, but I don't know if you've done it.
No, let's keep that from a distance.
Anyway,
yes.
Anything else you want to cover? So I think we're about at the end of this.
Sure.
I think we've covered.
Yeah, I will say this in closing. I know that it has taken a lot and sacrifice with what I've put into. At the end of the day, whatever whatever games and dates that I've scheduled and issued, everyone's here to have a good time, and that's one of my passions, and that's one of the reasons that I signed up for this is because I want to see this not only grow, but at the same time, give people like something to have flashbacks about once they're coming to this building, the same way I did when I was a kid. And it's always been awesome to see that, and how many people have been coming here, and at the same time build a community from it. To those that are watching this podcast right now regarding a new MK1 coming up, I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope you guys have been practicing for this event because it'll be a big one for sure, especially if we're talking about Mortal Kombat. And as always, whenever I'm doing Bloody Wars and whenever I'm hosting them, I can't thank my crew members I can't thank them enough for how much that they've been putting into the Bloody Wars industry. Like Brandon Travis, Chris Beach, our photographer, Sam Cohn as our journalist, and shout out to my girlfriend. She's been helping me with a lot of these events, and we've been coordinating. I have pretty much a sidekick throughout this journey, so I appreciate everything that you've been doing. And this journey it doesn't stop there. It's gonna keep going, and it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have a great time. That's the best way to close it.
So we're about 6 months through the season at Galloping Ghost Arcade.
We are, yes.
Who do you think has the best shot of winning Gamer of the Year right now?
That's up for the grabs. Someone that keeps coming over here to play these games. That's something you gotta take on. So, when someone comes here, that's a big advantage. And I feel like Matt Walters is a great target for that. But who knows? Anyone can pop in at any time. But,
nobody in mind.
Yeah.
Nobody really jumps out at you right now.
No, not at all. But
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
what about you?
No, I am not. No, I am not that good to be that.
But you've held the hardcore title more than anybody else.
I
don't know how many times. I think 4 dozen, 5 dozen.
It's around there. I'm just an average player. Don't put me on the spotlight. I'm good. There's many more talented players that can do stuff better than me. So, I think on that note, I think that's fine. We're with everything, right? We're pretty much good over here, right?
Yep.
Unless if there's anything else we need to cover.
Nope. That is about it. We've been streaming for an hour and 40 minutes so far. So I believe we're going to wrap it up right here. I want to thank you for joining me in this pilot edition of the Crimeycade Podcast. Who will I have next time?
Sure.
Who will I have next time? I don't know. I'm certainly going to have to do a little bit editing on the front end of this because I had a little bit of technical difficulties and we're trying to get you into the podcast and
sure.
A little bit of a rough start, but once you got settled in, everything went a lot more smoothly. So
sure, we got there. That's all that matters.
All right, so this will be after this video is only going to be on Twitch for about a week, and then it'll be on my YouTube channel, tiny.cc/pwci. That takes me to a YouTube channel, and I'll just start a new playlist for that. For this, so I'm pretty much open-ended. Let me ask you, who should I interview next?
Probably, I'd give the Bloody Wars champion a call next, Norbert or Brandon Travers, if you're trying to reach out to them next. They're really good people.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and good luck with talking to Brandon next and Norbert or whoever you want to bring in. They're really good people. So.
All right. Thank you, JP. I'm going to sign off right now. This is Mad Conservative Crime Fighter, former Gamer of the Year Stephen Lucas, former Hardcore Champion, former T20 Champion, current Pinball Expo 2023 Champion. Thank you for joining me on the additional edition of the Crimeycade Podcast, and hope to see you around one of the arcades pretty soon. But till then, have a good night, everybody.